We all see what?
In blue.
Yeah.
Blue clothes.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering about that, but I thought, you know, I'm just going to show up authentically as me.
Yeah, that's great.
That's what we need.
Right, without any, dress up or pretentiousness. Yeah.
And without mask also. We don't need COVID mask.
Well, that's another thing about Zoom.
Yeah.
We can't transmit anything other than,
Love.
this kind of energy.
Yeah. So let's start our conversation. I really love to meet you here on this space, and for me, it's really a great pleasure to have this interview with you. And I know you from child play yoga trainings, and it was really something. yeah all this stuff and all this place was just blowing my mind, and it was like I came back to my childhood, and I really rebirthed this happiness. Yeah. So please tell us how it came. Why did you started this kind of yoga, and how many years was you on this child play yoga and yoga Kundalini, and just what do you have on this background?
At the same time that I discovered Kundalini Yoga, I was at the university studying to become a school teacher. And I continued after I graduated the university as a school teacher. I went on to also study the alternative education of Montessori. And so I was working with this kind of creative alternative type of education for children. And then some years later, I ended up going to Barcelona, and I continued as a school teacher at the American School of Barcelona. They didn't have Montessori, but I was able to apply certain concepts of Montessori to my class. So what I'm saying here is that my life has been about children, about playing with children. And at the same time, I was studying to be a Kundalini, a school teacher. I was also taking care of children in the ashrams, the Kundalini Yoga ashrams that I was living in. So I was running a program for them and taking notes as to what things the children like to do, and thinking up ways to be creative with them and different activities. And over many years, I realized I had a lot of material. And also, as life progressed, I realized how important it could be for an adult to reconnect with their inner child, and that we all need to play. And this became a passion for me. And I discovered that all ages enjoyed letting their hair down, playing, laughing, coming together. And little by little, I started developing a program that today I call this child play yoga. And it's, basically a program based on educational play for all ages. and I incorporated things that I felt were important for the development of the child or the inner child of the adult.
Yeah.
Balance and coordination exercises and, just a whole gamut of things that help for development. And for me, that was yoga.
So did you start to teach children before you had your own children?
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow.
I started at, at 18 years old, I went to the university and started studying. And then I had my first child at 25. So yeah.
It's a very nice practice.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And in the ashram, we ran a little school. This was something that I did. Ran a little school, and we took the children from 6 months old to 4 or 5 years old before they went into their kindergarten. So we had the preschool.
I also worked with children, and I love this. I love this pure energy. But the last times, I see that a lot of people don't want to have children. They want to feel free, or I don't know what they want, but there is a tendency that people doesn't like to have children, to give birth to somebody, to carry of somebody. How do you think, why do people started to choose this? And also, is it okay if they decide to, or there is something need to be healed if they choose to live this way without children?
I think that times are changing. I think throughout history, families felt in order to survive, they needed to have many children because there was a possibility that disease would take the children away. And they needed children to help run either their businesses or their farms. So it required, family collaboration to survive. Times have changed considerably now. And I think that, there's a combination of reasons why people may choose, or couples might choose, to not have children. I don't know the exact reason for any particular couple, but I imagine that a couple might feel that the financial burden could be too great to have children and be able to properly educate them. I think that many young people are concerned about the future of our planet in terms of climate change, or the struggles that people are seeing in terms of global politics and relationships amongst each other as a species. Perhaps couples are considering the incredible commitment it is to have a child. They may sense, you don't know until you actually are doing it, but they may sense the sacrifice that it takes. Maybe there's more of a tendency to what you said, I want to be free, I want to do what I want to do. There may be a certain level of immaturity in that way. I think there are probably many reasons. Underlining is a fear. There may be a fear of what's happening to our planet. There may be a fear of, can I properly take care of this child? I feel for that, for young people now that are facing that and have that lack of certainty that, yes, I want to have children, because it's one of the most amazing experiences we can have as human beings, to create families and to sacrifice for another. Yes, there is a big price for love and commitment and sacrifice, but it's also priceless.
Yes, to support young families who are probably afraid to go to their unique future. You work with children for so many years. You also have your own children. May you please share with us what does a child bring to a parent's life? Maybe from a spiritual way of thinking, and also what news? What does it bring? What is so brightly to have a child?
Yeah, I think wow, there's so many blessings that are brought to one's life through having children. Yeah, perhaps the most profound is the experience of unconditional love and the willingness. Not every, I mean, certainly there are different degrees depending on the parent, him or herself, but the willingness to sacrifice for another. You know, as parents, you learn how to care and nurture. I think every spiritual quality that one would want to cultivate is cultivated through being a parent. Yeah, it because there are challenges too. And you know, children will touch upon all your deepest insecurities, and they'll bring up all your fears, and they'll bring out the best in you and perhaps even the worst tendencies that you have as a person. So what better little teacher could you possibly have than a child in your life? I've been blessed this year because of COVID. You know, COVID has been an incredible challenge for so many of us, and has, you know, wreaked havoc on our normal life, daily life, in so many ways. Yeah, and the one thing that has saved me this year has been the fact that I've been home and I've been very much in the life of my grandchild, who is now 5. So this last year, from him being 4 to 5, I have had endless opportunities to play with him practically every day, and care for him and observe the creative development of a child. For example, right now in my area of the world, I live in Virginia in the United States. We are experiencing this phenomena. Every 17 years, these insects called cicadas come out. This year it's called Brood X. And they come out and they're these big insects, kind of look like a long bee with big wings and antennas and red eyes and, you know, a whole body thing. I mean, they're kind of, you know, they can be a little scary looking. They come out, they fly around, they're not harmful at all. And many animals are are nourished by them. They're high in protein. But they make a lot of noise, and then they shed their skins and they fly around, and then they die, and they're all over the place. So my grandson, as a 5-year-old with an open mind and a willingness to explore the world, in his case, as many children, in a certain fearless way, he'll sit down on the ground or the pavement, and he'll pick up one of these dead cicadas and he'll explore it, and he'll pull off a wing, and he'll pull out the antennas, and he'll break open this, middle section, and he'll check out what's going on inside. And this in a nutshell is what you get when you're in the life of the child. This willingness to explore and interact with this world around you.
Yeah, and how can we help to the child to develop this creative thinking? Maybe you can give us some tips or tricks with child play yoga or something. What do you use for this creative thinking? Because it's really important to support this part of understanding life.
Yeah, well, I think what you just said is the crux of the answer. You have to support it. See, children by nature are creative. So you can be creative in so many different ways. So if you observe a child being creative in his or her little way, then you promote it. You offer opportunities and experiences. Maybe you offer them different media, things to play with their hands, different things they can build, take them outside to explore nature. I think the way in which a parent will support a child's creativity is because the parents are aware that it's good to support the child's creativity. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but usually parents suppress this by this goodwill also. Don't do this, don't do that, and yeah, also
Because
of fear. Yeah, maybe.
That's the thing. There's fear. There's fear. There are different kinds of fear. So there's the fear of the child in some way being harmed. So we try to maybe control the environment. I think there's a fear of what others will think and say. So parents try to socialize their child so they'll fit in. And because they want to fit in. So if you want to fit in to the group around you, yeah, you don't want to get any negative feedback, then you're going to control your own impulses. And if you have that fear for yourself, you're going to do it with your children too. Don't do this and don't say that and don't touch this. And yeah. So yeah. So the question is how to help. What is the question then? How to help?
Yeah, and this way we just now came to what not to do, but what we can do to support this creative. Maybe just let them do what they want, but sometimes it's also not so easy.
I think one has to refrain as a parent or a caretaker of children. you have to refrain that initial fear to control. You have to allow yourself a certain amount of discomfort to see where it's going. So after school, my grandson plays in the playground of the school, and one area has a lot of dirt. And sometimes the children kind of end up over in the dirt area. And tendency for us as parents or grandparents is, oh no, don't throw the dirt around, you're getting dirty. And then we realize, we've been observing, dirt is actually healthy. They've actually discovered scientifically that children who play in the dirt, they pick up the certain microbes and bacteria, whatever it is that enhances their immune system. So it's actually a good thing. And, the children, they're digging in the dirt, and they end up throwing it around. And, we don't want it to go in their eyes, but we realize, let them learn. If you throw it around, it goes in your eye. I don't like that, so don't do it. And, they come out all dirty. You brush them off. Dirt comes off. Dirt washes off. But the benefit of playing in the dirt as a bunch of kids, digging in it and, maybe tossing it around and making something out of it is priceless.
Thank you.
And I think we can, I think that's a metaphor for so many things. I mean, I'm using the dirt, but it's a metaphor for many different challenges we face as caretakers of children. How much freedom to give them to explore and not instill our own fears in them. Oh, don't do that. No, do that. Climb the fence. All right. So maybe you fall on the other side. Okay.
Yeah, but the other part, it's trust. If we do give them so many freedom, they can really hurt them. And also it can be related to the trust topic, yeah, because nowadays many children don't trust their parents. What can you suggest? How to build trust relations? This is one part to help them get this experience, and what else is important to build trust relations with child?
Yeah, no, it's an excellent question. Thank you. I'm just going to go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Obviously, when a child is entrusted in your care, you have to be vigilant. You're not going to let a child climb up a 10-foot fence when you're unsure of their safety. If you're capable, maybe you climb up with them. Do you understand? So these are metaphors also. Yeah, maybe you climb up with them. There's a fine line between instilling in the child fear, but being vigilant and being available to ensure that they're not getting hurt. Certain kinds of hurts are inevitable. You're not going to tell a child to never run because you're afraid they might fall. So, it depends. There are categories. So how do you cultivate trust between a child and a parent? Well, I mean, on one hand, you have to trust the child's inner wisdom. And at the same time, guide them with kindness. Children are very sensitive. And yes, you can, it's kind of a harsh word, but you can harm their psyche. So children need to be treated with utmost kindness. So a child will trust you if they feel that you are on their side and that you are there as a loving guide and not as a sergeant in which they are your subject and they have no say. And, you know, you set the rules, there's no discussion. There needs to be communication between children and parents. Rather than telling a child what to do, why not engage them in, what do you want to do? Tell me about it. How do you see that working out? Sharing with them what you think, and at times setting boundaries, even though that can be contentious with children. But the boundaries need to be set in kindness. It's really all about communication.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask me what's the main ingredient for navigating a good life, I will always say learning how to communicate and knowing what you want to communicate, knowing how to communicate, keeping communication open. There's no trust built between parent and children when children don't feel trusted. Parents are laying down the law. You do this. Why, says the child? Because I said so. No, that doesn't build trust. Yeah. Rather than the parent saying, I trust your judgment. I trust your judgment. Tell me about how you see it. How do you see doing this? Have you thought about this? If you go there, what if this happens? So you cultivate critical thinking in the child rather than shutting it down. They have no voice. If you don't give a voice to a child, they won't listen to their inner voice. Or their inner voice will become an angry inner voice. So communication.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially with teenagers.
Oh, about teenagers.
Yeah. Teenagers, they are going, see, that's the thing. I mean, little children too. You give little children the rules, but you know they're going to break the rules. You know it. And when they break the rules, you kindly give them tools to come back to their center. Yeah.
What will you say about some punishments? Is it necessary sometimes to punish children for breaking the rules? Somehow, I don't know how. I don't punish my daughter, but sometimes teachers from school says you have to punish her. So I don't know what to do.
I can't say that I feel really comfortable with the word punish because it's a bit violent. I think children will naturally learn consequences because life offers consequences. If you do this, then this happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's where the communication has to stay open. I mean, with little children, we need to offer them some tools to manage their energy. And we also need to let them experience some consequences. But the thing is not so much what's the consequence, it's how it's delivered. The delivery is what I was saying before, is the communication. How do you communicate the consequence to the child?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you communicate it? And how do you see? There's this phrase that has a lot of meaning for me. Children are not trying to give you a hard time, they're having a hard time. When you realize when a child misbehaves, you have to, instead of taking it personally, which many parents do, you're giving me a hard time. Now I have a right to get angry.
Mm-hmm.
And and impose my will on you, rather than stopping and saying, why is my child having a hard time right now? What's going on? It's different for different stages. For example, I've learned this year with my grandson, one of the times that he has a really hard time is when he's hungry and he hasn't been able to figure that out. So he becomes, we say, hangry, hungry, angry. And we discovered it because when he would get in this tantrum, and then we would realize it's time to eat, and he would eat, then he would become very relaxed and happy again.
Oh, yes, my daughter as well. When she's hungry, all our family had hard times.
Right. So, yeah, and there could be other reasons too. So rather than getting angry with a child who's angry and upset, you reach out. I had a daughter who she was a child at a certain age. She had a tantrum every day. After school, she would come home. She had a very hard time relaxing the sympathetic nervous system, going into relax mode. She would have to scream and cry for about a half an hour. At first, I thought this is misbehavior, and I had to put her in a room, or I had to be firm, or whatever. But it occurred to me to ask her, Simi, when you get upset like that after school, what do you need? And she said to me, Mama, I just need a hug. And here I'm thinking I have to apply certain force. My force has to be greater than her force, to neutralize it. And she's just saying, I'm out of control. I need some help here. Again, these examples are metaphors. Children are having a hard time. We need to get out of the way. I think that's a big role of a parent. And it's very tricky because parents think, same as teachers in schools or even yoga teachers, that I'm the one that's kind of controlling the situation here. And you need to listen to me, rather than being just the one that holds the space and observes and listens to what the other one needs, and then responds out of kindness and in a way in which you guide. I mean, for me, future teachers won't even use the word teacher. We're guides.
Yeah.
We're angels there to support you on your way and in your, as you develop to be the most bright and beautiful and content soul that you can be. So, yeah, if anything, I would say to a parent, and from my own experience, is to not take the responses of your children personally, but listen, ask questions, put tools in place. Consider, you have to be observant about your child. Again, also you asked about their creativity. Be observant. What are their passions? What do they love to do? Can you then help them cultivate that? There are children who may have a tendency to be very artistic, but parents don't feel that's a good future for them. So they don't want to encourage that. Whereas anything that is someone's passion can be cultivated to become something that they make something good in life out of that.
What is if it happened? So you have a child and he has a bad time, and in this bad time he doesn't want to do anything. He studies bad.
Yeah.
I think it's teenagers often put themselves in such situation that they don't want anything. They sit at home, or I don't know, they do nothing and study bad. How to be an angel to a teenager? How to be a guide?
I think it's important to remember yourself as a teenager. And it's important to understand the psyche of the teenager. It's a time of exceptional insecurity. And fears come out that may have been instilled as a child. I'm not good enough. Fear of rejection or abandonment, or abandonment meaning from like your friends, a fear of not being good enough. Some children may have perfectionist tendencies, and this makes it hard for them to want to do anything because they can't do anything halfway. So I either totally succeed or I'm not even going to try. Insecurities. Also, teenagers are subject to depression. I think if you see a teenager completely unmotivated, doesn't want to do anything, hopefully the communication between the parent and child is still wide open. And you can ask questions and consider maybe some out of the box activities. Let's go away and camp in nature, something different. Maybe shake them up, take them out of their present situation. There are so many factors involved. Are we talking about a teenager who's had parents who were very high performers, parents who are lawyers and doctors, and they put a lot of pressure on this child? Do you have a child who's been told since they were very young, you'll never amount to anything, you can't do anything right? All these things are factors.
Mm-hmm.
There are many factors, so it's not an easy question with just a simple answer.
Yes, I just think that this teenage age is teenage probably is like indicator when your child shows you all this all that you gave to him. So if he was not very friendly with your child, in teenagers will show you. They will just block you, will stop to talk to you, because this is the age when they are growing up and show up their self and show you what you did, how good you was in your.
That's a very good point.
Yes, yeah. And in that moment, many of people go to psychologists because they don't know what to do with the child. They want to do something somehow to fix this situation, and maybe you will have the answer in such situation to parents. What first should they pay attention on?
See, if you didn't cultivate good communication with your child when they were a small child, then you have what you said. It will come back in your face.
Yes.
You know, you weren't a kind guide. You didn't take time to find out what I think. You were just telling me what you think and telling me what I should think. So from childhood, see, parents don't get a manual or a course on good psychology for parenting. And it leads to many challenges in raising children. So if you haven't cultivated that relationship, then they're a teenager. And as a teenager, the tendency, which is healthy, it's part of our evolutionary process to be rebellious, to break away from the home, to become your own person. Yeah, it's actually important in your spiritual evolution. You can't remain a child under the thumb or, you know, with the thumb in the mouth through your whole life. You have to evolve. And yes, if you haven't helped your child in how to think critically, and if you haven't created this bond of trust that you were asking Dennis about trust, if you haven't cultivated that, then you won't have those things to help you navigate the teenage years with your child. So and they've studied the brain of the teenage children. It's not fully developed. Oftentimes they don't make good decisions. Mm-hmm. This can be very difficult for parents who have a fear of the safety of their child. But that's why a communication of trust and honoring the wisdom of the child needs to be cultivated before that time. Mm-hmm. Where the child, you're asking child, what do you think? Oh, you think, oh, all right. Well, I heard this. What do you think about that? Mm-hmm. It's not you being a guide. I'm trying to think of, that's a good word. Yeah. It's you guiding them in life. Mm-hmm. Not controlling them. Yeah. Oh, really? You want to do that? Okay. What will happen when that happens? Tell me, what happened at your friend's house? Oh, you were fighting with your friend? Oh, how did that make you feel? Not like a parent saying, I don't want you fighting with your friends, because then the parents won't invite you over again. And you have to be a good girl. And no, what happened? Yeah. Yeah, it's hard sometimes when, you know, two people want different things, and yeah. That for me is parenting.
Yeah.
It's not just paying the bills. I mean, parents are pay rent. You're not just pay rent. You're a guide. You're a loving guide.
Yeah. Also pay attention. Yeah.
Yes.
Not only bills.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
And that, yes. Thank you. Good word. Mm.
And if there's exist some tools, some rules, I don't know, some tricks to make your child to believe in himself.
To be what?
To believe in himself.
Well, I think we have to be diplomatic in building them up. Yeah, and you can't start building them up in the moment that they're showing insecurity. Because then they're going to know that you're just saying it. You know, children are not stupid. I think you have to develop a relationship where you're giving appropriate praise to the child. Oh, I really like it when you do this, or wow, yeah, I'm proud of you. You thought about that, or you know, that was a really good job. In authentic ways. Yeah, really, the only thing that really vibrationally resonates is this authentic.
Yeah.
So it can't just be you're mouthing it. Oh, good job. Yeah, I'm so proud of you. You are, no, you know, you have to deliver.
Yeah.
So inspiring.
Yeah, great.
Inspire the child to believe in themselves. Yeah. You know, children, they take in what they hear, and they create a sense of self from what they receive. And this mostly in the first 7 years. We call it the formative years. When children's minds absorb, they don't learn. This is something that I studied with Montessori. She understood that the child mind till 7 absorbs, which is why children can speak many languages and they're able to take in so much about the world because they're not having to do any work to do it. It's not a learning process. It's a repeat process. So in the same way, children are absorbing all the energy around them. They're seeing how life unfolds around them. They're learning about the relationships through the people who are relating to each other and to them around them. They're hearing what others say about them, and they're getting a sense of self from it. So their little egos are being molded and developed in these ways.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful with.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so careful in a joyous, natural way. Because what is there ultimately to fear? I know this sounds, well, I don't know how it sounds. I'll just say it. You'll see how.
Okay.
You know, it's just another lifetime in which we are subject to our evolutionary process as spiritual beings. And although we interlace that experience with so much fear and guilt, there's really no guilt. If you understand that there's only ik onkar, there's only one doer that's doing it all. There's only one wisdom that permeates the whole universe. And you realize as a spiritual searcher, you know, there's really no mistakes. There's just the building blocks of learning. And sometimes the mistakes are the best building blocks, what we call a mistake. We might think it's a setback, but it's not a setback. It's exactly what's needed for the next step. Yeah, thank you. And you
thought about Ekonkar, and this small mantra will be introduced in the festival. Maybe we can just finish with child topic and discuss the mantras, because I know that this is your passion, and I love all your mantras, and I really appreciate what you're doing as a teacher and mantra singer, I would say, and many our students really love what you given on these mantras. And what is for you mantra, and how you deliver these mantras for the people?
Okay, well, just a little bit, because I'll go more into depth in the actual class.
Yeah. Just shortly.
Invited me to offer. My understanding is the entire universe is vibration. And all vibration creates a sound. So sound and vibration go together. And mantras are the vibration and sound of a state of consciousness. And therefore, in vibrating those sounds that we call a mantra, one has the ability to access and open to these states of consciousness in this vibrational form. So the entire universe is vibrating, things that are both material and non-material. So at this moment, I was speaking of a more non-material. States of consciousness we would consider non-material. So a tree, or here, my water bottle is energy vibrating in a certain way that it comes to us in what we see as this physical form. Yeah. But there is a vibrational form to states of consciousness also. And the mantras take us to the ability to cultivate those states of consciousness. So it's a vibrational tool. And since I'm repeating, everything is vibration, the question is, at what vibration do you want to be vibrating? And how can you transform your vibration? I found that mantra is one of the most profound tools that exist to man to be able to override the thinking mind. And we want to override the thinking mind because our tendency is to believe what we think. And that's pleasant if you think nice things, but it's horrible suffering if you don't think nice things. Yeah. So how do you heal that tendency that we have to believe the mind? And mantra takes you to that place of healing. It's kind of in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
a little preamble to actually going more into depth about mantra and experiencing it in that workshop or class that you have kindly offered me to share.
Yeah. And also many people asking how can they deliver their voice in it? How can people develop the power of the voice? Because it could be with some fears or something that could stop this frequency, this vibration, to just let it go through the body and all others.
So I think maybe you're not talking about the physiology, because in order to strengthen your voice in a physiological way, you have to train the muscles, like any muscle.
Yeah, also.
Yeah, so there are muscles here. But I think you're talking about being able to, the power of your communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole spiritual journey.
Okay.
Yeah, that's called life.
Yeah.
Yeah, in life, we learn to, hopefully, we learn to relax and be ourselves. Because the most powerful voice is the authentic voice that's generated from both the heart and from the fifth chakra. Yeah, the will. Yeah. If you're worried about the consequences of what you say, what you believe, then chances are you won't speak up. Also, if you have decided that the only things that you can share are what other people have taught you, and you just parrot what other people say, then you won't find your voice either. So yeah, it's a journey of believing in your experience and opening yourself to trust your inner wisdom. And it's a fine line.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's a process to relax to the point where you can speak your truth. And then ultimately connect with higher truth and share that. I think I think that when we're talking about teachers, everything that you've learned as a human being, all your experiences, all your struggles, all your practices, all your devotions, all of that is for you. And for me, to be a guide, to be a teacher, is how do you help the other in their process to discover their own voice and their own inner truth? Because I think as we move into the age of Aquarius, we have to break with this Piscean way of only the teacher can tell you what's true for you. And therefore you have to find the teacher. And you think that somehow when you find that teacher, that person, they are going to be the one to liberate you, rather than connecting with guides who will help you open to your own inner voice and teacher, and cultivate your own inner wisdom.
Yeah, great. And also, you're teaching teachers. You trainer for teacher trainings, and the last section, I would say, we want to discuss about these teacher trainings, how they now developing. I know that you also started to give teacher trainings online, and how it goes. Alexa, maybe you have the questions about teacher training.
Yes, but before this, I have a question about mantras and children. I know that all the mantra, they have meanings. So they vibrates. When you sing the mantra, you connect with very high vibrations, and also they have meanings. So I heard that some mantra, if you sing some mantras, you can sing them with the purpose to find out something, to understand something, to receive something. I don't know. There are people who say that you may use some mantras for different things. Is this true? And is there exists a mantra what people should sing when they would like to have a baby? When they decided to have a baby, is there a mantra who can help to make this connection very clear, to say to universe, okay, I would like to have a baby, let's do it. Something like that.
Okay, well, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the question. If I got to remember the whole question. Yeah. Mantras are vibrations. You don't need to know the meaning of the mantra for it to have the effect that it will have on you, within you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to know. Oftentimes, there is an attempt to give a meaning to a mantra to inspire the mind, because an inspired mind becomes a great ally on your journey, right? But mantras are oftentimes in our yoga practice, we have a tendency to think that our practice is almost like a pharmacy. I have this problem, I have this illness. What can I do? And we use it as prescriptions. In many instances, that's okay. There's no harm to it. Yeah. But I don't think we have to only see it in that light, as like a pill that we take or a special magic potion. In the end, it's all about energy, moving energy. And certain mantras will move energy in the direction of a certain state of consciousness. Not sure I'm explaining that as well as I would like, but I will go more into depth in the class about it. Yeah. So when you ask about, is there any mantra for having a baby? When we think of having a baby, I think we imagine an experience of unconditional love. That would lead me to mantras that are more heart-centered and devotional. But the thing is, each one has to connect with the mantra that you love. Because if you love something, then you will nurture it, you will cultivate it, you will keep it with you. So there are actually many mantras. There's Ang Sang Waheguru that reminds you that every cell of your being is just swimming or dancing or flying or whatever, jumping, hopping in love. You are love. Then there's that mantra, Adi Shakti Namo Namo, Sarva Shakti Namo Namo, Kundalini Mata Shakti, before that, Pritam Bhagavati Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati means the goddess of love. and Kundalini Mata Shakti. The Kundalini is the mother energy. I mean, there's something about that mantra that even speaks to the longing to belong, the longing to connect, and the power of love. Yeah, if you were to give like a one-line explanation of that mantra, you would say it's the power of love. So that's a wonderful mantra. But any one is wonderful if you love it. You can't go wrong with mantra.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
And
you know, these are just my humble sharings from my experience.
yes, I appreciate it. I feel it, that it's your experience and it's so warm inside. I really appreciate this.
Yeah.
So I feel
But
that
in
it's
no
very
way-
personal.
in no way do I share from a place of I know it all or I have the answer. I you know, that when we share as human beings, we share our, you know, any experiences, any wisdom that has come from our, again, from our life, from our experience. Yeah.
Thank
Yes, and it's true, Dennis. I have been training teachers for many years.
Yeah. Can you just tell us what it gives for you and how it is to deliver this inner teacher? I know that many of people who started teacher trainings, they really found it inside, and they don't need to look for a teacher. They just go inside. And how do you see these teacher trainings for you?
Well, yeah, teacher training is, you know, it runs on different tracks. One track with teacher training is offering the student the tools to be able to, in a responsible way, share yoga so that those that come to the class can practice responsibly and not get hurt, and also optimize the way that they practice to get the best experience and move the energy in the most optimal way. So we study the asanas. What is the optimal way to put yourself in the posture so that the energy moves? And if that's not possible, what modifications can we offer the students? Yeah. And why do we do things the way we do? The safety measures that we put in place. So that, for me, that's one track. And you learn how to teach breathing and how to take care of students in terms of that pranayama. And you learn what have come down from time, different types of meditation practices that can be helpful. And also you teach different tools for how to use mantra as a vibrational tool. Yeah. So that's one track. The other track is the actual role of being a teacher and how to develop your presence so you can teach effectively. Because when students come to any kind of class, they're trusting that the person that's going to teach them has done their homework and can guide them appropriately. So the student wants to come and sit and feel confident and trusting. Yeah. You're not going to go somewhere where you don't trust that person. Yeah. So you want a teacher that's trustworthy. So a part of teacher training has to help the future teacher or future guide relax into a sense of confidence so they can give that confidence and trust to the students. Also, I think in teacher training, it needs to be discussed. Why do you want to be a teacher? Where do you see this going? Because it's not about sitting up there and selling yourself and trying to attract people to you. You see it as some vocation in which you're going to get popular. It's going to fill up all your sense of insecurity about who you are, or it's going to fill up your bank account. Or, yeah, so what's behind it? What do you want to, why do you want to do this? And who do you think you are to do it? And oftentimes we've thought we want the student to be like us. We want the student to see us as so wonderful that they are going to want to imitate everything we do. Rather than as a teacher, you want to cultivate the student to be themselves and to honor their talents and their tendencies and their personalities and use them in the most effective way to give a good, responsible class. Yeah. We have our teachings. We tune in. What is the tuning in? The tuning in is becoming neutral, becoming zero. This is not about me. And I just feel that needs to be continually enhanced and repeated in a teacher training course. So we move away from these old examples of putting teachers on pedestals, thinking that they have all the answers, or we need to be like them in order to be triumphant in what we're doing. No, teacher has to help you cultivate that you love yourself, trust yourself, not the teacher. Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that create more questions or?
No.
I mean, does that resonate?
Yeah, it's really resonate with me, and this point of view is really like I feel. And also I like that you say guides, not a teacher, like a person who knows everything, all the answers inside, but it's about just be yourself, be authentic.
Yes. Be neutral. Yeah.
Yeah, and neutral also.
But then, you have to have worked on before you get up on that position right in front. You have to have worked on, why am I doing this? What do I want from this? Do I want acknowledgement, or do I want to acknowledge the others?
Yeah.
I know that some people come to teacher training not for teaching, because it gives so many tools just to understand who you are, to open your authentic
self. Yeah.
Yes, authentic self. So may people go to teacher training without any purpose to teach further? Is it help, or it's only for knowledge?
I actually think that's the ideal approach. You just come and learn. Then you'll see. then you say, oh, I think I have this is something that I feel I can humbly do and share with others. Yeah, that might be a better approach than coming already in with the ego. I'm going to be a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, Dennis was.
The ego is not a bad thing, but it can lead us astray. It's not bad in itself, and we can't annihilate it or kill it, but we can expand it, expand its small sense of self.
Yes, but also to come to this teacher training, you should also have a conversation with your ego, because now I don't know how, but when I went to my teacher training, it changed all my life. But I didn't know why I go there. I just went there. I was feeling that, okay, here I'm in the right place, in the right time. I will do this. But I didn't have expectations. But when people doesn't feel like me, they just see, okay, there will be a teacher training and they have to have a conversation with the ego. Why should I go there? Why do I need this? And for ego, it's important that some of these things would resolve some problems, give some answers. And it's true, you receive a lot of answers at the teacher training.
And also certificate. I need the paper.
Thank you. I think you'd express that far better than I ever could. I agree with you. I do. Yeah. But whether you ask your ego or you don't, you're going to be confronted in the teacher training anyway.
Yes, but you have some statistic what people receive after you taught a lot of teachers already, and you saw their path. You saw what they did, what they were at the beginning, then what the changes then they created in their life. Maybe there is some statistic or some interesting people who you remember.
Well, it's so individual. It's because there's a line, you are unique, just like everybody else. I've seen so many different responses. People who have really felt a transformation in going through the teacher training for many different reasons. For the things that they're learning about, obviously the practice that they're, if you're going to commit to a teacher training, which you have to sacrifice, and there's a certain economic sacrifice also, chances are you're going to take advantage and you're going to practice, and practice changes you. And then there's also a very important element, which is the community that you create around you and the relationships with others. And that's a big part for many people. We're social beings. And to be in a group of others who are on a similar path, and, you're starting to share more intimate parts of yourself, and to have a group of people you can do that with, making new friends, expanding your relationships. It's for a lot of people, that's a big plus for being in a teacher training. In the end, what is teacher training worth if it doesn't make us more cozy, open, sociable people that are willing to reach out and touch others, and be an example of whatever joy we've been able to garner through the practices.
Yeah, thank you. I think
I don't even know what time. I don't know what we've done.
Yeah. It also, I was wondering that it was more than 1 hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah, it was like few minutes left. It was,
yeah. All right. Well,
so I think we need to
No, I think we do, because we can't subject others to.
Yeah, of course, but it was really a pleasure for us. I hope we can cut it in a few sections, and it will be easy for people. So I think also we need to save our time. Thank you for your time.
Oh, my pleasure. So we'll be in touch, because the
Yeah.
next is the actual June 14th.
I think, yeah, 14th. Yeah. And I will send you the link. And
looking at a 2-hour class, 2 hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can be 1.5 hour or 2 hour, as you wish.
Yeah, but 2 hours would be. Yeah, 2 hours would be better.
All right, now we can.
So
I think 2 hours, because if we want to do some chanting, because it would be good to have a little experience also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 2 hours would be great. Maybe I don't stop broadcast. Maybe you can just shortly invite people for 1 minute if you wish. We can cut it and just do like
right now,
intro.
You mean?
Yeah, just now. If you want, it would be great.
If I want to invite people to the festival?
Yeah, for your class on the festival. Yeah, would be great.
Okay. But now?
Yeah.
But it's not recording, right? You know that.
Yeah, now it's broadcasted on YouTube still. I will cut this part, and we will make the last part with your invitation, just for the people.
Let's try this. All right. It's not live. Is it live? No.
No, it's not live. It's just a recording.
Okay.
You can make mistakes. Yes.
Yeah. So, Satnam, my name is Gurudass, and I have been kindly invited to offer a class on mantra chanting and physiology of mantra, and a good introduction about mantra in the upcoming Russian Yoga Festival. My class will take place on June 14th. And I would love to share with you. Satnam.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. No, that was so good, because I don't have a time. Should I have given a time or anything? We never had.
No. It's just a short introduction. It's really great.
All right. Okay. All right.
Thank you for that. You were great.
Yeah.
I like the way that you change your mode. Okay, now I'm like this. Okay.
No, you are both wonderful, because it feels just so relaxed and like at home and.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
I feel it's a new time for us all too.
Yeah.
A lot of pedestals to get down off of. A lot of false. Status seeking and all that. Yeah. It's been a challenge, but this is good for us all.